Well, welcome to Conscious Gatherers. And this is our 100th episode. So it's a milestone.
Yes, it
So
is.
it seems after about 3.5 years of doing this. And we are so happy to be here with you tonight. And my name is Beverly Thompson, and I'm here with AJ Royce. Hello. All right. Today's date is August the 8th, 2023, and also known as the Lion's Gate. And so Royce is going to share some information on that in just a bit. But as always, a lot more insights and our opinions that we will share tonight. So do remember that. Always use discernment, and what feels right for you may not feel so good for another. But we do our best in bringing forth information that we feel is very important, and we do ask, and so we do interface, if you want to call it as such, with our higher self and some other beings on occasion. So that's when we say this is what we get. What that means is this is the information that has come through. And so we always ask, or I better speak for myself.
Oh, we do.
We do. Always ask for what is for the highest good of not only ourselves, but all humanity, this earth and beyond. And so that stipulation is out and has to be in the highest light, what I term the highest light. And so, what we bring forth, maybe things that we need to look at, maybe not necessarily what we want to hear, but it also brings light to what's going on in this world. So we're going to discuss that in just a bit. So obviously more insights did come through today, and tell you what, this world is immensely interesting,
to say the least.
It is, but it's incredible times that we're in. And I've been calling it a crazy world because to me it is crazy. And I think that's part of what we are to see today. And the crazier it gets and the more sci-fi it gets or whatever, we're like, what? Why is this happening? How can this happen? How come people are not hearing this?
But if it hadn't been for our insight, so we'd be lost. We'd have no grounding as well. So it keeps us sane.
Keeps us sane. And all of you listening, everyone has their own insight. Mm-hmm. And not everybody's going to see, when I put that in parentheses, see internally, or what I call the third eye, the same as I do, or Royce. So anyway, it's just it's just interesting to look at the differences that people are going through right now, and some of the realizations, and I've used that word lots of times, coming up, and it mentions real eyes or real eyes. And so we're really seeing all these different aspects of ourselves, aspects of our world, and the changes that are being made, because, oh my God, we definitely are going through immense changes. And so, and those of you who are like, how are we going to get through all this stuff, all the crap that's going on in the world, all the political structure, whatever it may be. But to me, it's all being brought to the forefront for us to see, no matter how crazy it is. And sometimes we think, okay, is this real or is it not? Is this a play that we're watching or a movie? And in a way, it is, because we're waking up to ourselves and our what I call our powerful selves. So,
I missed a little bit of what you said. I had to leave the table, but more and more we're realizing that we're writing our own play. And so when we come across things that make no sense whatsoever, just realize that perhaps you weren't specific enough in the play that you wrote, and so you're due a rewrite, which is what we all have to do.
Well, one thing that's still coming up when I'm talking to people is, number one, be honest with yourself.
Yes.
Totally honest. And it's still, I see it often. And you mentioned about writing your own play and understanding things. And sometimes we'll get these snippets of information, yet it's like, okay, what does this mean? Where's this going? Yeah, I ask all those questions. And you may not get the answer right away. And the more specific you are, it can be answered. And that's being honest through all the specifics. And it takes a lot of, people call it soul searching.
Yes. A lot of times you'll get the answer, but you don't have the understanding under your belt to be able to understand what that answer is yet. But let a few years pass and then look back over your notes and it's like, oh, I understand fully what that was. So some stuff is given prior to, it's perfect timing, but it's to our time frame, our perception of time. We're not on the same page.
From years ago. So, and many of you, and if you don't, that's okay too. But you might want to write some of these realizations that come to you.
Yeah.
What you feel are coming to you, and then they're for you, and for you to look at. And so, just jot them down, and don't fear what comes through.
Yeah. When I first started meditating and that sort of thing, I began keeping a journal, and that turned into my first book, When the Night Comes Creeping. So, you just never know how deep the insights go until you start writing things down, and then you start getting more and more understanding and putting the pieces together because you're able to see it on paper.
Yeah. Think about a puzzle. What do they call jigsaw puzzle? And each puzzle piece has its own shape and the color, whatever it is. It's only going to fit in one place. And so each snippet, if you call it, of this life and other lives will fit into that puzzle. Mm-hmm. And more of this that I want to share. Didn't get the puzzle analogy, but it came to me just now. So it's we're building our own puzzle, or tapestry is one word. My friend Brenda Hoffman has used that because we're all part of this tapestry of life, and we have our own tapestry, and then we weave that into the other lives that we are in sync with, and maybe not sync with, but the whole. That didn't really come out right, did it? The all, the earth and beyond. So, and even beyond the consciousness, we think of ourselves as physical beings, but we're beyond physical.
Yeah, we're
the real us.
Some people have worded it like we're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Which we are. We're spiritual, and this is just one human experience. It's one of our manifestations that we decided to do to understand ourselves that much more deeply. And it's like, whoa, what a whopping story that we have written or and experienced, when they call it written, that we have manifested. And so, and here we are looking at all these manifestations, and some of us are going, whoa, okay, I'm done with this. Yeah. And so we're seeing that happen on a worldwide scale and beyond. So I can keep going on that. All right, let's get into this is again 8/8/2023, and today is the Lion's Gate. It has been called. By the way, I am going to say this. A few years ago, I was talking to a friend on the phone, and I said, this is when all this Lion's Gate, it was fairly new to me a few years back, and my understanding of it. And I said, for some reason, I'm not feeling it. And he says, hey, I'm not feeling it either. And so, lo and behold, not too long after that, in my meditations, I was seeing myself go right through a lion's mouth. And I went, oh. And if I recall correctly, is that it's like I went into a whole new galaxy. It was really quite interesting to what I was seeing back then. So it's just the expanse of our worlds, and that's not only this earth.
So you had yourself your own personal paradigm shift, eh?
Yeah, I did. So I was like, okay, I guess I am. There is something to this lion's gate. Not that everybody's going to see a new galaxy when they go through the mouth, but that's what I'm remembering right now. So it's like, sometimes I'll challenge myself. I don't think that. And the next thing it's in my face. Yeah, yeah, you are part of this. So I hope that makes some sense. All right, Royce, please.
Okay. When we were going into meditation, I just thought on the word Lionsgate and not really having read what much of anybody had to say about it beforehand. And so this is what I intuited. Lionsgate, an opening for all to see and experience. A time of truth coming forth to be spoken and upheld. A time of the cleansing of harshness and the softening of beingness. The lion knows he is the lion, and his strength moves before him, long before the show of strength. Be as a seasoned, wise lion whose strength is internal, and send forth your strength wisely guided, and the light of love will match its intensity. Therefore, wisdom, strength, love, and light are the pillars upholding the mighty firmament at this time. With humility, use it well.
Wow.
So it's a powerful, powerful time. The Lion's Gate does stand for something. Powerful time to be alive, to use your thoughts, words, and deeds creatively in wisdom.
That's a big word that still comes to me often, is understanding the wisdom each and every person holds.
Yeah.
And matters not your education, has nothing to do with wisdom. That's knowledge, right. Perhaps. Mm-hmm. Wisdom begets knowledge. I mean, they can work together. However, wisdom is beyond that.
Yes.
Yeah, especially what we're seeing in today's world. So it's like, some of these teachings that we have gone through may not be in our highest good, and they not be true. History we're rewriting our own history, and it's like, okay, did that, check. Did that, check. Don't want to do it again, check.
Check, scratch out.
Erase. So anyway, that's where we're going through now. All right, I will share, and then now we may refer back to many of the things that you had just talked about. But here's what I intuited, my insights for today. First thing I heard was, what is to come? Okay, what is to come? That, even with those words for a while, and then here's what came. All right, so much happening. More people are realizing all the goings on in this world while others remain oblivious. I think a lot of people know that, or some that are very oblivious to the world events and all that's going on, and they're in their own world. And that's okay. It's up to them. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to keep going. There is a knock on each of your doors. It is up to you to open your own door, no one else's. Once opened, look at what you see and feel. The more gratitude you feel in this process, the more you will see, and that means understand, once that door is fully opened.
Could you read that again, please?
Okay. I'm talking about opening your door. It is up to you to open your own door, no one else's. It's none of your business, in other words. Mm-hmm. The more gratitude you feel in this process, the more you will see, means understand, once that door is fully opened. What most of you are about to witness is beyond most of your imaginations. Some scenes, talking about today, or what we are to witness, some scenes, that's S-C-E-N-E-S, are horrific, and others mystifying, and others enlightening in the most positive sense. Once all barnacles are removed, you shall see that beautiful underlying structure of reality. Nirvana in the making. Do remember this, as some of the horrors, that's spelled, it's hard for me to say that word, H-O-R-R-O-R-S, are displayed. I've seen some of them. I really don't want to see any more, but I got a feeling we will. However, you do not need to see all of it. We ask that each one of you assist in the energetic removal that still remains on the earth plane. And we're talking about energetic of the not so nice stuff. Okay, well, good. Residual. We're going to get back into that in just a moment. Thank you. And this is regarding the energetic, and this includes the energetic removal of atrocities each of you have experienced in this lifetime as well as other lifetimes. So, atrocities, maybe you haven't had any in this lifetime, but most people have in other lifetimes to experience it all. Understand reality, understand Creator. The new day is here and right in front of you, should you accept a glorious life. We invoke to you all this glorious attribute in living in your wholeness of being. Last sentence is like, okay, is that written right? But what I'm hearing is that we want to see you all in my self-creator, whatever you want to call it, what's most glorious attributes which we all hold, and we're going to live our wholeness of being. So we've been living very fragmented.
Yeah.
And that's ending.
Okay. Here.
All right. All right. You were bringing some things up while I was reading that. So,
well, the barnacle part. Can you read that sentence again?
Yeah. Once all barnacles are removed, you shall see that beautiful underlying structure of reality. Nirvana in the making.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and it's like seeing our lives like a ship on the ocean, and the barnacles that build up on the bottom of the ship below the water level, so where you can't see it. So to me, it's saying that that there are things that like get under our skin or attach to us in whatever way, things that irritate us, things that just pull us down, whatever it is, that needs to be addressed right now. We need to remove those barnacles so that the beauty of this life can when you've got barnacles, that creates drag. And so the ship cannot set full sail and realize its potential of movement because it's being held back by the drag. So when you clear out the barnacles, oh man, you're, smooth sailing. You can go far and fast. So I just thought there was so much in that sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, the underlying structure, which is us.
Yes.
And the barnacles can be, belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
They could be programs that we have bought into. Now I say bought, believed, okay? And some of those programs and belief systems can cause illness. Mm-hmm. We wonder why we have these illnesses. Okay, what's the underlying structure within that illness? And so when we start seeing it, we're cleaning the barnacles.
Yeah,
I do like that.
Mm-hmm.
And cleaning it out of our system, and then our system, our physical system, works out much better.
Yeah.
So, we can keep going on that one. Do you have any more ideas?
There was something coming to mind, and it just trailed right away. I must have cleaned the barnacles off and it skedaddled out. I just find it. Fear. Fear, I think, is probably at the top of the list of everybody's barnacles. A big barnacle. It can definitely be linked to disease and ailments and everything that holds you back in your life. 99%, I would say, would be linked to fear.
Yeah.
And even if it's just a fear that you haven't ever tried it before.
Which goes into what we're talking about. There's a knock on each of your doors.
Yeah.
And that's the creator knocking. It's just I feel it's ourselves knocking at your door, talking about the wholeness of being. That's how this, what I received today about the wholeness of being. That's where we're going. And oh my God, we're incredible, powerful beings. And we're going to do amazing things. We're going to amazing world, glorious. Because I asked, I say, give me another word, and I have gotten glorious quite a few times. Mm-hmm. And so that's what came up today.
Yeah, we're waking up to that now, so we can make use of it.
Mm-hmm. So if you're going to open your door, take a look at that. If there are barnacles in the way of that door, being a ship, sailing ship, but are we afraid to open that door to see what is on the other side?
Yeah, there might be something really good on the other side of the door, but you'll never know if you don't open it.
But if you're into that state of gratitude, is there anything at all to fear on the other side of that door? Anything ever?
I saw a movie this past week. Heaven is for real, I think is the name of it, I think it's Heaven is for real. I'm trying to remember. Burpo. Reverend Burpo was the name of the fellow who wrote the story about his son who had passed. But anyway, when his after his son experienced like a near-death experience, he realized that we don't have to be afraid at all. There isn't anything really to be afraid of here.
Not at all.
No,
not at all. I could go into another story, and I'll touch upon it. But I'm a grandmother. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but I have one grandson who is age 3. Well, my husband passed 12 years ago. 2012. So, 12 years ago, right? Or 11 plus. But anyway, Math is escaping me right now. Anyway, my little 3-year-old, he sees Papa or Grandpa, and he wanted to invite Grandpa to his house. And his mother finally said, well, Grandpa doesn't have a cell phone like we have. And so he's like, oh. But he was Grandpa was showing him his rainbow house. And so the rainbow, a lot of people, when they talk about going to the other side, they cross the rainbow bridge. And so I think that was some of the language, and that's what Grandpa was showing him. But so they converse, and I was asking my little guy about the rainbow, the rainbow house. I said, well, does the rainbow go over the house? He looks at me kind of funny. He goes, no. It is. I mean, he's just like, okay, this is what I see him. Why are you asking these silly questions? Basically, that's what I get from him. And I think he just sees them, because I asked him if he saw Grandpa in his dreams, and he kind of like, huh,
It's not a dream. I see him.
Yeah, exactly. He says, well, Mom and Dad don't see him either. So, anyway, but what the Grandpa was showing him, I said, well, is each room a different color? Yes. So, it's just really cute that these little ones can start seeing this. And so they come in quite awake. Yeah. And it's to nourish that thought of our nirvana, talk about going through a door, And Grandpa was showing him a beautiful rainbow in his beautiful home that he called his rainbow house. Pardon me. All right. So remember, it's up to you to open your own door, and do so with gratitude, because that can mean so much more. And sometimes we'll open it, doors. Some doors will open, and it's things for us to look at and things for us to let go of.
Yeah, and sometimes doors appear more than one, letting us know that we have a choice to make. And it's like, which one of those doors? So it's like causing us to exercise our inner discernment, to hone in on what is the direction, and that's something you have to search out for yourself.
And all the doors are there for you. And I don't feel any door when you're in that state of gratitude and love. No door, there's no hell, unless we make it as such, and which has happened here on earth. And that was, I feel that's what's going to be shown, or being shown. And you can call it whatever you want, but it's being in that yucky, feeling, that sort of thing. And so if that comes to you, you might start looking at, okay, why am I feeling this way?
Yeah.
What's in me is the reason I'm feeling this way. Nobody does anything to you, per se.
That brought up something that I experienced within the time that we met last, and that was I had an invitation to go someplace, and it was like there was a hesitation. Why did I not want to take part in this? And I was like in a quandary. And so I called my dear friend Bev, and she helped me to get to the point, what's really going on here. And the point was that there wasn't anything. That was old. And it was just like an old remnant of something that used to be. And so she helped me to be able to see that, it was an illusion, and I could let it go. So, perhaps that sort of thing is happening with you, where you're feeling something, and it's not real anymore. May have been real at one time, but not real anymore.
Yeah.
So
no need to go there anymore.
Yeah. So it's non-existent. So just let it go.
Yeah. I do want to say this, and we brought it up in the last podcast, and that's the abduction of children.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, these innocent children and some of the horrific things that some of them I've seen in visions. I start cutting off my visions because it's so hard for me to even go there.
Yeah.
And so more of this is coming out, and which this is going to take us into another arena here. But is that send these children love, please. As much, just send them light and love and whatever's for their highest good. And the more that we do that, we're helping them. Remember, you keep your light and love. You don't give that away. You hold it, and then you let that go out, ripple out.
Yes. And if you connect in with the consciousness of the children, the ones that have not been rescued yet, I personally, because of what I experienced, would be to not project they're coming for you, they'll be there soon, that sort of thing, because that builds an expectation of something that may or may not come for them at this time. And so if we can just concentrate on billowing out love, and that let love be the support for them, instead of building up
hope.
Yeah.
That we're not sure how that's going to work out.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned it's what you experienced, but that is through vision.
Yes.
So make that straight. You didn't go through any of that yourself.
No, I didn't.
Child abuse.
No, but I saw it very clearly, and I've told you before, it's haunted me ever since.
Yeah. So even when you say even haunted you, it's like, okay, what are you going to do about it? You're going to let it haunt you, or are we going to use that light of to what we are?
Yeah.
We know it goes on, but then we're not as affected by it.
Yes. Yes.
Because when you're affected by it, it pulls you down.
That's true. That's very true.
So we got to remember the power, and what you said earlier about the power of the love vibration. And that goes into some of these horrific things that we are being exposed to. You don't need to see that much of it, but understand, yes, it has going on, and we're not going to allow this anymore in this earth plane. And that is, as you called it earlier, is the cleanup crew. You as in, I'm looking at Royce here. And there's many people that are the cleanup crew, and many of you listening can also be the cleanup crew. And that is sending the light into these places. Holding your light, definitely hold that light tight within you, and then let it ripple out into these areas. And it changes. But make sure you're comfortable doing so. If you're not comfortable, then you're not going to be of any help.
That's right. Leave that for somebody else to do.
There's quite a few people that do this work. And both Royce and I have done this work. And we were discussing earlier about some of these places we thought, oh, the energies are kind of yucky, or whatever word you want to use, not comfortable, and I don't think I want to go there, et cetera, which is all well and fine. However, when you can do something about it.
Yes. Go into action to, well, if it doesn't feel right, then perhaps I can do something about that.
Yeah. You can help and assist with bringing the light to that area.
Yeah.
Or, whatever that is, or, some people open and close portals. I found myself doing that. Usually close them because they'll open, even in my home here. And sometimes I'll say, okay, guys, out,
Yeah. and crowded.
Somebody goes crowded, and they close the vortex, and then they're gone. And then I hold that space so the area is cleared.
Yes, I've learned that in a house where I used to live. I woke up in the middle of the night, and it was like there was a full-blown party going on in there. And I said, okay, everybody out. I'm sleeping here. So I had to go about learning more about what portals were, and there was one right in the middle of my hallway. So I, took action to try to keep that closed.
Exactly. Sometimes it takes a little more than once, and you think
Yes.
it's closed for good, and it's like, maybe not.
Yeah.
So in other words, if something doesn't feel quite right, there is something you can do about it.
Yeah.
There are some people that have written books about clearing space, and one gentleman I do like to watch his podcast, and that's the Ceti Ranch, E-T Ceti, at C-E-T-I, E-T-C-E-T, I believe, with James Goodland, and there's ways of clearing, and it's on his website, and it's all free. And because they have all kinds of people at his ranch, and a lot of UFOs in his area, and most of the, from what I'm hearing, the ones around him are very sentient. I talked about that word sentient.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, of course, they're sentient, but that can be negative, positive. But these are seem to be very positive beings that live in the mountain at Mount Adams and other places too, and they'll power up and show themselves. So, as disclosure has actually now happened, I guess officially it came out in Congress that we are going to start seeing even more ships are going to start showing themselves in what we call our space. So
yeah, the ones that are here to do no harm, they don't want to scare us to death by all showing themselves all at once. So it's been happening gradually so that the general public can wake up to it and not poo-poo it anymore, because if you're poo-pooing it, then you don't have your eyes open, in my opinion.
In my opinion. A lot of the negative beings, I feel, are gone. I'm not saying they all are. I'm really not sure on that. Occasionally, we'll come across some beings, which happened recently, and they look similar. Well, they're humanoid. I think they're the insectoids, that they're known for. But they were underground, and I could see them, and they look sick, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted our help, and we just said, what we did, we helped them leave.
Yes.
And said, hey, no, you don't need to stay here, and we helped them leave the planet. So
leave with no way back.
Yes, because we didn't feel they were here for our highest good, put it that way. But for their highest good is to leave the earth. And so that's how we assisted them.
Yeah, because the vibration of the earth here, even though it at times has the appearance of being just the opposite, it is raising in vibration. And the more it raises, there are some beings who just cannot hold that vibration, cannot withstand living in that vibration. And so that's what was happening with these beings. So they needed a way out.
Yeah, they may have not seen that, but they do now. The other thing is there are a lot of underground beings, it's my understanding, as well as our space brothers and sisters that are coming forth. So some of these, I call them underground beings. A lot of them are in live on a higher dimensional level. So more of them are going to be showing themselves. So that's all part of our awakening, and it's going to be pretty cool when we are more in I think it is, it's my opinion, as we converse, with culture or whatever it may be, and some of their technologies, and not talking AI, but the technologies that we hold within our physical bodies. But I think we got an absolutely beautiful future, but things are looking pretty muddy right now, and but I don't think it's going to last that long. It's going to last as long as we allow it to last.
And as long as we need it to last to really wake up to who we are, what we can do, and what our potential is.
Correct. Sidormus. All right. You had, I think, a pretty good last, what you said on your Lionsgate, and I was going to see if you would please repeat that.
Okay, the wisdom and strength. Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, therefore, wisdom, strength, love, and light are the pillars upholding the mighty firmament at this time. With humility, use it well.
Yeah, humility. Opposite of arrogance.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Firmament.
Firmament.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's what we see as our firmament. I can't say the word.
Yes, you can.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all here, and we're all here for a reason. And oh my gosh. But I just think it's very exciting. So those of you, prepare yourselves too, and that's make sure that you're well nourished. Make sure that you get plenty of sleep. To me, that's extremely important right now.
Yes.
I don't do well with not much sleep. I admit to that. And if you're tired, then rest. And I know many have, other circumstances where they don't find time to rest. That's a lot of things that we don't have to do, but we think we have to. But it's like, can I let this be for another day so I feel better? And then when you do it, then it's quick and easy versus drudgery. And so that whole thing is this drudgery thing. It's like, it doesn't have to be drudgery, and start looking at life in a whole new way. So, all right. Thank you very much for joining us this 100th episode, a milestone. So we will be back in 2 weeks. So that will be okay. That'd be the 22nd, I believe, of August. So that's 2 weeks. I'll be on a Tuesday night if anybody wants to listen live. If not, we are getting these episodes up on YouTube a lot faster. So thanks to both Terry and Eric for doing that.
Thank you very much.
So listening, thank you. Because we do think these are very important. We love doing this. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
It's really out of our hearts that we share. So anybody has any comments, again, anything that you are going through, anything that you want to see addressed in our podcast, go ahead and let us know. And there's plenty of spaces for comments on our YouTube channel. So please do. Right, we love to hear from you, and we thank those that have added their comments too.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Well,
I wanted to express my gratitude for having known a person by the name of Tanya, a neighbor of mine who passed this week, and I have gotten to hear from her and to enjoy the scent that she presents herself with a couple of times. That's the scent of plumeria. If you've ever been to Hawaii, or I believe they grow them in Florida as well, it's quite a lovely scent, and just as lovely as she was. And so I am so grateful to have known her in the physical and to keep contact with her beyond. So just know that those who have been with you and who decide to step over to the other side, they can communicate with you if you would like to hear from them, if you're open to that. They're there. But just if you don't want to hear from them, just know that they're okay. And if there are any circumstances that might give you pause, then just hold them in light. Keep them lifted up in your thoughts and prayers and meditations. And that helps greatly. They feel what we feel.
And they may show you their rainbow houses.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So thank you, Tanya.
If you would share with the audience, listening audience, about one of your other neighbors had passed earlier.
Three years
ago.
Before.
And then what he said to her, and you got to see that.
Yes. He walked up to her and hugged her from the side, and he said, "See, it was a breeze." And she looked at him and smiled real big. Oh,
so anyway,
lovely.
Yeah, it is. So we are so afraid of death, and not that we say, "Hey, you're here for a reason." That means stay here if you want. And a lot of us aren't ready to leave this earth plane in physicality. But those that do, and a lot of people are passing over, as we call it, or transitioning, but they're just a breeze away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you all, and we love you all, and keep in good spirits. Do some things that are fun. Walk in nature. Give gratitude to everything around you, and you'll find that your life is has a lot. You have a lot to be grateful for in everything.
Yes, if you wake up in a bad mood, that just start in with the gratitude, whether you feel it or not, and before long, you'll start to feel it. Just gratitude for the trees, the grass, just everything that you can lay your eyes on, or your hands on, the field, just everything.
Roof over your head.
That's right. That's right.
You have running water.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, the
back to the basics, those basic things that are really the things that make it nice to be here.
Exactly. All right, everybody.
So thank you so much for staying.
Thank you for staying. And if you want to contact Harry, Royce, or myself, the number is 864-999-3008. Just leave your name and number. And again, if you have any comments, and there's a whole comment section on our YouTube channel. So we had one. It was basically a thank you. And so we thank you, Paige, for putting that up.
Dear Paige.
All right. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you, and good night.
Good night.